Headline stories from home and abroad provide the topics for debate now in Central Weekend.
This is Central Weekend Live with John Stapleton, Lowry Turner and Nicky Campbell.
Good evening. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to Central Weekend tonight. After Posh Spice expresses her preference for sex in the back of a car, our inquiries reveal the young man who did more than shop till he dropped at the local supermarket. The ex-convent girl who had her way in the back of a bus heading down Oxford Street. And Mr. Tinkler, yes, that's his name, who goes public in the public bar. They all make an exhibition of themselves. Should they be ashamed of themselves?
And as a nationwide survey shows, 2/3 of us now believe in the paranormal, meet, among others, the ex-NASA engineer who says he was thrown down a flight of stairs by poltergeists. Can we believe him?
But we begin with a man who cannot, apparently, be believed. Saddam Hussein said at the end of the last Gulf War that he'd allow unlimited inspections of Iraqi weapons sites. Those inspections have been blocked for 5 months now, and it's reckoned he has enough chemical and biological stockpiles to wipe out the entire planet. But is Gulf War II the answer? Should we bomb Iraq? Charles, you're an American correspondent in London. Should we bomb Iraq?
It's got to be yes. I mean, right now, if the diplomatic means are exhausted, then you've got to deal with this man in the only language that he understands, which is direct military action.
Oh, and if we don't?
Well, if we don't, I mean, it's just a matter of time before he uses the chemical weapons that he's preparing.
Do you accept that, RIAD? We have here a man described as one of the most evil men we've ever known in our lives.
The bombing is not really an answer. The Allied use a massive power during the Gulf War, and they achieve absolutely nothing. What really achieved by UNSCOM, destruction of 80% of Iraq capabilities of manufacturing of mass destruction, by cooperation between the Iraq government and UNSCOM.
But are you telling me he hasn't got these weapons that Mr. Blair speaks of, Mr. Clinton?
He has destroyed them. The questions of weapon, it is not a question of weapon which really stems the problem since November, is the sanction. You have to address the problem which really been facing the Iraqi people for the past 7 years.
Okay, I'm going to do that in a minute, but first of all, I've got to ask you about this. Does he or does he not have these weapons? The United Nations are saying that he's got hundreds and hundreds of tons of weapons that are not accounted for, that can wipe out the entire planet.
Fine. If America declared itself to be the policeman and the carer about the globe, now why the French, the Russian and the Chinese are against using military force?
Okay, I mean, one has to admit, these weapons, these alleged weapons, you know, have not been verified. No one's actually said, yes, for sure they're here, because... Pardon?
Iraq has no capability of delivering these weapons.
Okay, do you accept that? There's no verification.
Two things, John. It takes a lot for the British government to disclose, to risk their own intelligence in Iraq, and to say that they believe that he's got 200 tons now.
But you know, in any conflict, the first casualty is truth, isn't it?
Yes, of course, that's true. But it takes a lot for the British government to disclose this intelligence. It's very rare. They have said now that they believe he's got 200 tons of VX agent, just a few grams of which could wipe out a city.
Why the Russians refuse to believe it?
And then second, for verification, I was talking to Rolf Ekéus, the previous chief of the arms inspector. He's a very mild-spoken Swede. He told me at the Royal Institute of International Affairs that he believed that Saddam had brought from Russia, recently bought from Russia, through Jordan, guidance mechanisms for rockets that could reach England. So Blair is panicking now.
So you're saying in the next step he's targeting England?
He believes, Mr. Blair believes now, and the Americans believe that. But the French and the Russians, for their own purposes, they do not want to...
Ex-Gulf veteran behind you. Should we bomb Iraq? Does he have this armory there? You've been there.
We should make sure that all weapons of mass destruction in Iraq are destroyed.
The whole region.
And if necessary, by taking...
But do you believe they're there?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you see, I've got to say to you, sir, I mean, if Saddam Hussein is as innocent as he's painting himself, if it is as Riyadh says over there that he's destroyed most of these weapons, why not let the UN inspectors in? If he's got nothing to hide, he's got nothing to fear.
I think we are getting involved in secondary issues. That is not the basic question.
It is the basic question, that's why we're considering bombing them.
Because it's my turn to speak. So
OK, please do.
I think we must set our principles first. What are our principles? So far, as I see, the British government's policy is inconsistent, amoral, illogical, and immoral.
Why?
Now, I will explain that.
Why?
Now, if we believe Saddam Hussein is an evil person, he has got stockpiles of arms, he does a lot of criminal activities, then so is Hafiz al-Assad in Syria. So is the Egyptian government, so is the Algerian government. Why do not we go in there and destroy them?
But look, the fact of the matter is, he said 15 days after the end of the Gulf War that he would destroy these weapons. How many there are, we can debate about. The fact is, they're still there.
That is the inconsistency. Why, if that is the principle that we should destroy anybody who has got means of destruction or is evil, then we should destroy everyone who has got...
OK, fair point, Charles.
We'll start with Iraq then. I mean, what you're saying is we're not the only guys that are guilty. There are other people in the world that are guilty. But we're starting with Iraq because he's just put this front up. And the thing is, the Americans have no problem with the people of Iraq. They have a big problem with Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be stopped now.
Hang on.
Charles, we'll start with Iraq. Now, nobody can prove that there's any capability. Nobody can tell us. Of course, it's a secret.
Just hold on. So much intelligence.
Charles,
I mean,
one thing that...
do you need to
No. Every time anybody asks, nobody can prove it. But I know who has got weapons of mass destruction. It's called America and it's called Britain, and they're going to use them. The people who are talking about...
But no, we also have ours inspected, Claire, and that's a crucial difference. This guy is saying, sorry, and you can't even come and look at them.
Even that point is not true, because it's interesting that when the Iraqis invited in an inspection team last week, it was called a trick. It was Saddam Hussein is playing yet another trick by inviting in the inspection teams. This is a witch hunt.
That's right.
This is a witch hunt. Yes, if Saddam Hussein does it, it's a trick.
All right, another veteran behind you.